Hi, this is Chef Katie at Michigan Brew in Grayling. As our head chef, my passion is to bring you inventive and delicious food that is fresh and healthy. Everything we make is homemade, from Eggs Benedict to organic buckwheat waffles to authentic birria tacos. We also cater personally curated and unique foods for your special event, created with as much care and pride as our in-house menu. See it all at mibrewgrayling.com or call Michigan Brew and ask for Chef Katie. Thank you and hope to hear from you soon.
Winter driving can be treacherous. No matter how well you drive, accidents happen. Get back on the road fast when you choose Jim's. Since 1986, Jim's Collision in Roscommon has been getting people back on the road when the unexpected happens. If an accident isn't traumatic enough, working with insurance companies can make it worse. No worries, Jim's Collision will handle your insurance claim too. Certified technicians, award-winning service, and clearly your best choice in collision repairs. ChooseJims.com. That's ChooseJims.com.
The people you know, the name you trust. North Central Area Credit Union. Integrity, service, and value, you can count on us. North Central Area Credit Union.
It's the month of love, and you'll love a checking account at NCACU. In fact, when you open up a new one this month, they'll give you $50 at each of their 5 locations: Granville, Grayling, Houghton Lake, Roscommon, and Standish.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Good morning, Northern Michigan. Welcome to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Coyne live in studio with Rich Calkins and Chad Patterson. And gentlemen, where would you rate the Super Bowl? Is that one of the 5 best Super Bowls you've ever seen?
I mean, it should be, right? Because, I mean, it went into overtime. It was a close game, but everybody that's talking about it, and I agree with them, the first half was a snooze.
It was.
I mean, it was not... until Usher played, it was like, I don't think the teams played, but it really, the first half was a snooze, but then the second half, I mean,
made up for lost time.
Yeah, a lot of crazy things happened, some bounces of the ball. I mean, that punt that went off the 49ers special teams player, crazy, and it all changed. But yeah, the first half was just a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Really? You thought it was a snooze fest?
I did. I don't know.
I thought the Niners I thought that the Niners played fantastic on both sides of the ball. They completely wrapped up the Chiefs' defense. Yeah. The offense could not be stopped. They stopped themselves. They stopped themselves twice, the Niners did. Right. The Niners should have gone in at halftime up another 10 points. And then, it was funny. I was thinking about this, guys. That the punt going off the guy's back leg changed everything. Absolutely everything. The Bills missing the field goal to send it into overtime. Okay. The Lions.
Ball bouncing off the face mask.
Yeah. I mean,
Ayuk.
It's really true. Every game boils down to like 4 or 5 plays. I don't think the Chiefs outplayed the Niners.
No, I don't either. No, absolutely.
I don't think the Niners outplayed the Lions.
No, it's true.
You're right.
And it's a few bounces here or there, and it has unbelievable outcomes. With Kansas City, they were able to kind of carry that throughout most of the year. Remember, during the regular season, like almost in December, we're wondering, what's wrong with this team?
They got blown out by the Raiders. Blown out.
Yes.
By 24
they couldn't do anything
points.
Right.
No.
And their receivers are dropping passes.
In the Ravens game, the guy's reaching the ball over the end zone. That doesn't get knocked out. It's just, how did the Chiefs get here? You know what? You go Mahomes and great defense. Obviously Spagnuolo called a fantastic number of defensive games.
Nobody schemes better, man, in big games. Nobody.
But, man, are the Chiefs the best team in football? Are the Chiefs the luckiest team in football?
We're talking about those four plays that change every game, right? I mean, all those bounces, or 75% of them, seem to go the Chiefs' way. And it's, I'm glad you brought up that Zay Flowers play, because that's a perfect example.
And when you have an all-world quarterback, that you get those bounces, man. He's gonna make it count. He's gonna be opportunistic. And then Kelsey and everybody else involved, it's incredible how things can change at the drop of a hat.
How did you guys feel about the Shanahan decision to take the ball first?
He screwed up.
Every time. You think so? Okay.
He screwed up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think from here on out, they'll cover just like college football. You want to kick the ball.
it is college
Kind of.
football.
It is. Yeah.
It is essentially, absolutely.
No,
It's the same.
but the stupid thing is that you should. That's rules strictly for the playoffs.
Yeah.
The rule should be the same
All the way
for
through. All
everything.
the way
They
through.
really should.
Yeah.
You know,
When your Harvard guy doesn't know what the rules are, then
I
you
mean,
better.
that is
What?
ridiculous. Don't change the rules for the
Yeah.
playoffs in the Super Bowl.
I mean, and it happened because of the Chiefs, which I want to, because Brady got the ball, ran down the field, scored a touchdown, and everybody goes, well, that wasn't really fair. Yeah, it was. Stop the other team. The original overtime rules for football were perfect. It's okay. You know what? I'm glad they added the little thing. If you kick a field goal, then the team gets another chance,
yeah,
right?
You got to score a touchdown.
But, here's one thing, Rich, that I thought of after the fact, and it's just the same thing, like it's so easy to Monday morning quarterback this
Sure.
crap. But no matter what, other than kicking into the wind, we're going to take the wind.
Yeah. Morning wig. That's the one.
I mean, the
decision
ref
you
was
never
like,
wanted.
what? What did you say?
Wait, exactly. Did I hear you correctly?
I mean, you want to kick the ball anyways because on top of everything else, your defense could stop them. Your defense could get a turnover.
Right.
Unless it'd be tough for the Lions. With that defense, the way it stands right now, maybe we'll take the ball. But for the most part, I'll put my defense out there and I'll take my chances because, like I said, you turn the ball over, you force them to punt, and then you're in the driver's seat. It's just it was a bad decision.
And they weren't doing a bad. I mean, Bosa had a great game.
He did.
Put pressure on Mahomes.
There was
see
a
what
Chase
happens.
Young appearance as well?
At least, yes. Those
As
three
predicted
guys,
here.
yeah. Young, Armstead,
Armstead,
Bosa.
Dre Greenlaw going down.
Oh, that was
just
horrible.
And the way he
brutal.
went down.
Exactly. Running onto the field, he tears. Oh my gosh.
Well, that whole 49er team, and that wasn't
That
really
did
tough,
not
but
help anything
You don't
for the
make
team.
that's for
excuses.
sure.
You don't make excuses, but they were like a mash unit by the end of the. I mean, Debo holding the
Francesco,
hamstring every time he got up,
their starting guard was out of the
Yeah.
game.
Well, and then Steve Wilkes is the fall guy. At the end, and they compared it. I mean,
I know
his
he had better stats than
it's better stats than
who's
DeMarco or
D'Amico Ryans.
D'Amico Ryans,
Yeah.
exactly, from Houston. So, and
Yeah.
Saleh now a head coach of the Jets. Because
Well, the solid defenses were good.
they were very good,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, I mean I think Wilkes did a great job.
That guy's had horrible luck in coaching, hasn't he? 1 year at Arizona, head coach, fired after 1 year. As the D coordinator, 1 year with San Fran, done. I mean, that guy can't.
Well, you got a lot. He did what took over that Carolina team when they got rid of was it Urban Meyer? No. Meyer was at
Myers at Jacksonville. Yeah. Was it Rivera?
The guy that's out in Nebraska now.
Rule?
Yeah, Matt
Rule.
Rule.
Yep.
So they fired Matt Rule. Wilkes came in, and they won, 4 out of their 7 games. And then they brought in Frank Reich. Genius move.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
So, yeah, I mean, Wilkes got piped, and, it's not a good look for Shanahan. And
It's not. All eyes are on him now. Can he win the big one,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as the offensive coordinator, infamously gave up the 28-point
Atlanta,
lead
yeah.
at Atlanta. Didn't
But
change-
the interesting thing is he's in the exact same spot that Andy Reid was in
Right.
when he's at Philly,
Yeah.
right? So what, does Shanahan
Andy
need to get
can't win the big
fired
one.
and go to Washington or wherever and then,
And then
and
make it
then
happen.
change the whole
Yeah.
thing? I don't know. But it does help to have the best quarterback in football.
Certainly does.
I mean, look at there's something about those particular guys. Think about some of the Super Bowls that Brady won. The Seattle game.
Oh,
The Seattle game and the Atlanta game. No, they had no business winning
No
either
business.
of those football games. But there's Tom Brady. And maybe Mahomes, we have to check his lineage. There might be some Brady DNA.
There might be. I remember when Butler got that interception, and you saw Brady get up off the bench.
Oh, they were dead.
They go like
what?
That.
He knew.
You saw the life come into him, and you knew right that moment they're going to win this Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind.
What do you mean? There was only 8 seconds left.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and Butler barely got out of the end zone, right? And he fell. So when Brady took a knee, he had to be careful not to get a safety.
That was the crazy thing. Yeah, wasn't quite over yet, but I didn't think it was going to.
For Butler to make that play, that's an all-timer.
No, but I mean, look at I don't know how much it had to do with Shanahan and how much it had to do with Quinn. Dan Quinn was the head coach.
Yes, he was.
You go, let's start bleeding the clock, okay? We don't need to be throwing the ball 45 yards. We're not going to set the scoring record. Let's just hoist the Lombardi Trophy.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just so funny. The game is ultimately compelling for so many reasons. And then, you can't not discuss very briefly, the shooting at the parade. That's just,
Yeah. It's awful.
And it turns out it was not it wasn't a planned mass shooting.
It was
kids had
a rift. I'm wondering if it's.
But let's bring our guns to the.
Oh yeah, that settles everything.
Yeah.
So absolutely. It appears again. Yeah, they had a beef with each other, and then so they both.
So they shoot it out at the parade.
Each other, and innocent people or innocent lady killed and.
Well, I don't know if she's innocent. There's some stories that said that it was her kids that were part of this rift.
Oh, okay. I did not see
I'm
that.
just saying. No. There's more to be determined here.
There's a lot,
When I think the sadness of it too is the juxtaposition of a game like the Super Bowl brings us all together. It's a unifying thing for our country every single year.
Absolutely.
And a Super Bowl parade is a celebration in the city who won it. We would love to have one in Detroit.
Oh, God.
And, it's so sad that, kids are going there to see their heroes.
Yeah.
They're drunk heroes, but they're there.
There was some drunk.
Yes.
Kelsey was.
Friends in low places.
Kelsey was drunker than. Did you see Tay-Tay? Pictures of Tay-Tay at the Super Bowl? Chugging wine.
They showed her on the Jumbotron, and she knew what to do.
She was pretty blasted by the time she got down to the field with Travis. I've been held like that by drunk women before. You're like, oh my God, I love you.
Well, I'm sure you guys.
And then they showed some. She was having a little problems walking on. Yeah. But
friends in low places at the parade when he's singing that, and Mahomes had to bail him out. I mean, thank goodness your quarterback's there. I'll take over the.
Look at Brady almost threw the trophy into Tampa Bay.
But anyway, I mean, what I was getting back to though was it's a unifying thing.
It is.
And just to put
sports in general,
a dark spot on that is
going to Lions games and fans and all united as one thing. All of that, I could care less about the person's political beliefs sitting next to me. Any of that, their religion, who cares?
Football,
we're all here. Sport, we all come together and enjoy it and cheer for one thing.
And you should feel safe at a parade.
Well, they did. They had 800 cops.
But
you divide that by 2.2 million, and you've got an issue. But I don't know.
That's tough.
If we ever see. Hopefully, by the time the Lions have a Super Bowl parade, we'll have figured out the shootings. Like when Tanya came in and told me on Wednesday, I'm like, I mean, obviously you don't have a lot to say. I mean, it's tragic, but I don't think people are going to be giving their guns back.
No.
I mean, not up here, not in northern Michigan. Nobody, they have those things. Turn your guns in, and and they.
Oh yeah.
And you see some of them are successful. Nobody's turning their guns in up in northern Michigan.
No. Well, I mean, it's a multi-pronged problem.
Oh
it's not just guns. I mean, it's
most
mental
people
health.
have guns for hunting purposes up here.
Up here.
Yes, up here. Yes.
Not in the inner city. No,
not at all.
No.
Yeah, there are. way beyond my pay grade. There are a lot of things to figure out with this problem of mass
for
shootings,
sure.
and it's an American problem, and we will have to figure it out.
Yeah, because there's
the mental health aspect. There's a lot. There's
how
many
easy it is
layers
to get guns and all this other stuff. But even if you stop selling guns today, I mean, most of the American population is armed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'll never forget, before we moved up here and bought the radio stations, there was a little incident in Detroit where two women got in a fight about driving in to drop your kids off. You know, one of them was driving in the way to come out and everything
Into
else.
a school?
And the one woman, was like, "You're going the wrong way," and she's like, "F you," and then they just both took their guns out and are shooting at each other in front of the school. And it's just like, well, yeah, that's how I settle things.
Yeah.
In the front of an elementary school, because one person.
Well, that's the fuse.
I got my gun out of my glove compartment.
Well,
and
every couple of months you hear that story of the old person who just has somebody coming to their door, and they're just coming to their door to like knock on the door, deliver something or something like that, and they shoot first, and it's crazy, it's a crazy issue, and it's one that needs to be solved. That's for sure.
It's getting tiresome. I mean, the Drive-By Truckers wrote a song called "Thoughts and Prayers."
Yes.
Because that's all we ever hear. And you know what? I believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, but I don't know if he's listening to our thoughts and prayers about ending gun violence. I think that's a human problem that has got to be addressed somehow. And look, it's addressed all over the country. I mean, Joe lives in Spain, and nobody has a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But again, like you said, in the American culture now, a lot of people have guns, and now, like you said, well, how do we deal with this issue again? And there needs to be some answers.
Here's switching. Let's get back to sports. Here's I think you and I were talking about this. People are like, "Oh, who the Lions going to take at 28?" And I'm like, nobody has a freaking clue.
No,
not at all. I don't. The draft that they came up with last year when they had, four picks in the first two rounds, and nobody ever got any of the four picks right. So you're going to now try to predict what the Lions are going to do at 28. Okay, good for you. I want to see this guy. I want to see somebody get that right.
Yes. Exactly. Like you said, what happened last year, no one could see that coming.
No.
A running back, a linebacker, a tight end. All of that.
Well, you're the king of the combine and the
mock
drafts and stuff.
You
got your mock
drafts.
Buddy. You got it all out.
Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
I sent
you got a 28?
I sent your St. Elmo's $5 gift certificate. Good luck. I don't know what that'll get you at St. Elmo's, but
probably
a napkin.
The sauce only. 18 players from the national champion Michigan Wolverines are going to go to the combine. That starts February.
More than Georgia.
Leap year, February 29th. It's starting with the D linemen and the linebackers at Indianapolis.
Nice. Hey, we don't need to get a D lineman. We got Matthew Betts from the
Canadian sack leader.
Yeah. We got him, so we're all set.
A late bloomer.
Yeah.
As soon as I read that, and then I was reading a little bit more about him, and he was a free agent, undrafted free agent in Chicago.
Yes.
But then 6'2", 250.
Yeah.
That's not basically what you call your D lineman in the NFL.
No,
so
it is not.
He better be the greatest wrestler of all time.
He better.
Wrestlers make better
6'2",
football players. I don't know how many times I've heard you say that on the show. This guy better be the.
I love the wrestlers too, but no, that's like the loafers, man.
I would like to know what the average size of the offensive linemen in Canada are.
Yeah.
I doubt they're 340.
They're not.
No, they're more meant for speed. Those guys, but that game, you see how they get those running starts. It's just it's a crazy game.
It would be wonderful if he turned out to be a find, but Warren Moon came from the CFL, so. But Johnny Manziel went to the CFL and didn't do anything. So.
They were hoping they wouldn't get let back into the U.S. They keep him up there.
Flutie went to the CFL first, right? And then,
he was in the NFL,
and then went to
got bounced out, went to the CFL, came back.
Came back. Okay, that's right. Okay, back and forth.
Career.
I believe he did win a couple of Grey Cups.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But.
Nice. Well, we'll see how it works out, but I just hope they get a defensive back. I'm not going to try to predict what they're going to do at 28 because I can't do that.
Can we get Kyle Hamilton? Is that?
Can we have a redo?
Yeah.
That would be great. Like it was a board game and we had some card to play. Yes.
Oh, they have done that. That's what a very popular thing. They do it in the NBA all the time. Redrafting the draft from 2020. Okay, like where these guys would have actually. Yeah. So that's as popular in the NBA culture as the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? Jordan or LeBron. Jordan or LeBron. Like, I personally think it's LeBron because I hate Jordan still today. And we ruled him for a while.
We did.
Sure did.
So
Then the Jordan rules.
Jordan rules. So the NFL season, I would say, is behind us, but it's never behind us.
No, it's always the top story. All I've heard about is Caleb Williams, and what are they going to do?
After the combine, we got free agency starting on 4 p.m. March 13th.
That's a good question. Before we head to break, I want to ask you guys this question: do you think free agency should be first, or the draft should be first?
They purposely switched it because it used to be. Yeah. And
so
I kind of like free agency first.
Okay.
So you fill some needs, and then it may adjust your draft accordingly.
But I think it's the other way around. Yeah. You draft for need and then fill in with the free agents. I think that makes free agency a lot more compelling because people think they know they have their needs filled. Because what's the hit rate on free agents? It's probably right about the same as the draft.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, think about what was our hit rate on our free agents this year?
Oh, the hell is
pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
I mean, it's a good thing we had a great freaking draft
because a lot of our free agents get like Mosley went down.
Gardner Johnson was down. One play, he was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, our cornerbacks were hurt.
CJ went out in week 2. Yep. Our free agents were not good.
Not at all.
And when is the last time the Lions had a great free agent?
Well, this Montgomery's first year? This was his free agent year.
He wasn't a free agent. We traded for him.
We traded for him? Oh, okay.
Didn't we trade for him?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we did.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No. We did sign him as a free agent.
So he worked out.
Okay, yeah, he did work out.
We'll take
I wish they would have used him.
Yeah, they knew he was a free agent because they knew they weren't going to sign Williams, and so they.
Going way.
That was the first guy they took, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
That was day one.
They still drafted a running back.
Thinking about free agents that played well, and I'm going back probably 15 years, is Quinn, the safety that
Glover Quinn.
Glover Quinn.
Yeah.
I thought he was a really good free agent. He played really well for the Lions for 4 or 5 years.
Nate Burleson was a free agent.
Nate was a great one.
Yeah,
from Seattle.
Well, didn't we get Golden Tate?
Golden Tate was
he's
the Seattle guy. Yeah, Golden Tate was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nate Burleson, was plopping up the Lions a little bit on the CBS.
He's always he's in the Lions' corner.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So it's either way. I guess when you look at it that way, what's your hit rate on the draft versus free agents? Well, at least for the Lions, now that we got Holmes in there, let's draft away. Can we trade our free agents for more draft picks?
We could have definitely drafted a linebacker instead of signing Pat Swilling way back. So we could.
The worst part about that is, my dad was really good friends with Joe Schmidt, and Swilling asked if I could
have his number.
Yeah, and Schmidt was there at the press conference, I remember, and he's like, I'm so happy to have you continue the legacy of great linebacker. That worked out super well.
I don't
because Swilling was great for New Orleans.
Oh, God,
yes. He was incredible.
He comes to the Lions like he's got nothing left.
He was the Juan Gonzalez of the Detroit Lions.
Well, I don't think we had anybody on the D line. I don't know what year that was.
Yeah, no, that's probably true.
I don't know. It's just like the old question, like, had the Lions the Lions could have drafted Dan Marino. He would have been a bust in Detroit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Probably, absolutely, yeah.
Where you go can determine your whole career.
And it will be very interesting now with the Lions' success what free agents they can get. Because they got a lot of money. They're $40 million under the cap.
I think there's a lot of players looking at that guy coaching.
I'm just saying.
I want to play with it. I want to play for him.
It'll be very interesting. Yep. Obviously we have weeks to talk about, what free agents are available, and we'll start get the articles out.
Danielle Hunter.
Kyle Hamilton, is he a free agent?
Not yet. Not yet. I know. He will be.
I don't think he will ever be
a
free agent.
He's a keeper.
Sneed's a free agent.
Danielle Hunter. From Kansas City, yeah. That's a good.
Patrick Queen.
And we have a lot of guys they're going to sign, some of the guys for the Lions that they want to keep. Penei Sewell, obviously.
Yeah.
They
got to figure out what to do with Goff, which he's going to get more money because his dead cap hit comes off. And I was told there would be no math, so I don't know why I'm here.
Sharpen your pencils.
All right. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Here's Destination NHL. It's time for Destination NFL. Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport, grinding down to the end of the season. The biggest game of the year, Buffalo heading down to Miami.
They're going head-to-head, and it's going to be dramatic. But TVC gets you down there through Punta.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
The Traverse City Record Eagle wants your nominations now through February 16th for our 4th annual Women's History Month publication. Our commemorative edition honors women committed to embracing all and who have taken the lead in showing the importance of inclusion, equality, and fairness throughout our region. Nominate a woman, past or present, to be honored and celebrated in this annual Women's History Month publication, to include feature profiles of nominees. Now through February 16th. Nominate at record-eagle.com/NMI Women.
Listen, do you hear that? That's the sound of wide open spaces at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air. The sound of laughter coming from the Alpine Tubing Park. The sound of splashing in the pool. The sound of shushing down Shush Mountain. Here we go outside to play. When it's time for you to enjoy the wide open spaces of northern Michigan, Shanty Creek will be there to welcome you with over 275 lodging options, 42 downhill ski and snowboard runs, and plenty of outdoor fun in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
When you love someone, it's customary to somehow let them know. I'm Erin Martins of Hogan's Jewelers in Gaylord. So who do you love? How are you letting them know? Many people get tongue-tied about expressing their feelings. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You just have to be resourceful at finding ways to convey it. Enter Hogan's Jewelers. No, I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm saying literally open the door here at Hogan's and come inside. You want to talk about ways to express your love for someone? The store is full of ways to say it wordlessly, but loud and clear at the same time. You can spend as much as you like. It doesn't have to be a fortune for the message to get through to the one you love. Spouses, significant others, fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, we have appropriate ways to express love for everyone. So don't keep it bottled up inside. Come in, find the item that will bring joy both to the giver and the recipient. When it comes to spreading and expressing the love, we are your co-conspirators. On Main Street, M32 in downtown Gaylord, Hogan's Jewelers.
All right, sorry about that. We grabbed the wrong folder. Here is Destination NHL. It's time for Destination NHL. Jerry Coyne is in studio with Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport TVC. And Kevin, before we talk about hockey, we saw what the Super Bowl was like in Las Vegas. And unfortunately, our Lions weren't there because there'd be a lot of people that are still be in Vegas celebrating.
For sure. You know, I still think our Lions were better than both those teams on that game. That was, from a game standpoint.
Well, the defense has played really well.
Yeah, I guess so. But, you know, I think we would have been explosive. As I said to everybody, we would have been up, probably 24, 28 points at halftime if we were there. So that next year. I'm looking for next year.
All right.
So that sets it all up for next season.
But as we talked about last week, the Wings are going to be in Vegas, and you can get there from Cherry Capital Airport pretty easily.
Well, that whole trip starts in Colorado, Phoenix, ends in Vegas, and then back. I think we said it was just over $1,000 to do that. On a multi-leg trip like that and seeing all the fun. Wow, that is a great price.
Seeing the Wings play in Denver against the hated Avalanche, then the Coyotes, which should be a layup win, and then in Vegas against the defending Stanley Cup champions in the greatest, coolest building in the NHL. Sounds like a great trip to me.
Hey, you got to be great. I need to get on board on that one. So, but yeah, and then you look further out in the month. Then they come back to a little bit of a home trip. Homestand there, but they end up in Nashville. So, as you called it earlier, Nash Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
So, and that's an easy trip down and back for just a little over $400. So, that's the way to go down there and see them also.
And you still have a little bit of time left to go ahead and go to our Up North Sports Radio page or Q100 Michigan's page or TVC Airports page and register. You can do it actually on all three and register to win our TVC getaway to LCA, which gives you airfare to and from Detroit from Cherry Capital Airport, tickets to see the Wings at noon and the Pistons at 7, and 2-night stay in a downtown Detroit hotel. And it doesn't cost you anything but putting in your name and your email address.
Absolutely. Get registered because that drawing's coming up here shortly.
That's right. So we want to get one lucky winner to have an experience that you just don't find very easily.
And that's on February 24th.
That's right. The games are on the 24th. You fly out on the 23rd, come back on the 25th. So, Kevin, see you in Vegas or Nash Vegas.
We're on our way. TVCAirport.com.
All right, that is Destination NHL. Some great trips coming up, available in and out of Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. But I want to stress the fact that today is the last day you can register to win that TVC getaway to LCA. You can go to upnorthsportsradio.com right now and click on the tab and put in the information. We're going to pull the winner later on this afternoon. Or you can go to Q1 and you can go to Q100 Michigan because you can register in both spots and go to Cherry Capital Airport, tvcairport.com. Get your registrations in, and we could be calling you later on this afternoon.
Be a jet setter, man. Go out.
How cool would that be?
Everybody, I think every sports fan goes through their phases of, having your little bucket list thing. There's so many guys that want to go to see a baseball game in every baseball stadium.
I've been to 16 of them, yeah.
Awesome. I went through my little college football phase, with Notre Dame and West Point and Annapolis and some really cool stadiums. And because I was a campus freak, because I went to so many freaking colleges anyways. Thanks for joining. We saw your grades, Mr. Coyne. You better transfer right away. But this is one cool thing that you just don't get the opportunity to do very often. And
one
see,
day.
Yeah, see the flight. You're going to fly out of Cherry Capital Airport on Friday the 23rd. We'll put you up in a hotel. You get to go see the Wings at noon and the Pistons at 7. Then you got another hotel night, and then you fly out on Sunday. And it doesn't cost, you got to pay for a couple cab fares, and that's pretty much it.
That's a great area down there, too, man.
You don't have to leave.
They've built that up, and it's
there's so
really,
many
really
restaurants.
nice.
You can walk 2 blocks to go to Hockey Town, and
Greektown.
So,
it's
Greektown's
all
right
good.
there, no doubt about it.
Awesome.
So, we
Get
warned
registered.
you. Go do it. Speaking of the Red Wings, not a good start to the West Coast trip.
No, not at all.
One goal last night.
One goal last night, and of course, Edmonton did what Edmonton does.
Well, they lost last night, though.
That's so weird. Yeah, exactly. But you saw some of those goals.
Well, Connor McDavid had 6 assists.
I guess. And that one spinorama that he made,
He's so good.
I saw the highlight. It's just like, wow. And what that guy can do on skates is
That's the
crazy.
one thing that the Wings are missing. They don't have, Dylan Larkin's a fine player, and DeBrincat is very, very good.
Yeah.
But he's not a superstar.
And they got a lot of really good role players, solid players, but they don't have that superstar, that guy that's going to dazzle. 10 or 11
guys that have scored 10 goals, but like you said, no one dominant guy.
Yeah, they got piped in the draft for the last 7 years.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
And missed out on the Connor McDavids of the world or the Connor Bedards of the world. I guess you got to if you want your kid to play hockey, name him Connor. That's just in.
Well,
whether it's a guy or a girl. Did you ever see there's a new women's professional hockey league?
Oh, sweet.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And not a team in Detroit.
Now that's the sad part of it, though. So
that doesn't make
sense. How many teams are there?
They have the original 6,
right on.
3 in Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec. Minnesota,
that makes sense.
Boston, and New York, I think it is. Boston makes sense. I mean, it's a huge hotbed for hockey.
Are they playing in the same arenas? Are they playing in smaller
arenas?
Yeah,
I don't have all the details. I know they're going to play a game or two at LCA.
Okay.
And is it a subsidiary?
Subsidiary? No.
Subsidiary of NHL?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope. Doesn't have anything to do with it.
So again, JC, living down there for as many years as you did, what youth hockey and all of that, the Metro Detroit area is so huge.
That's why it's called Hockey Town.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not called Hockey Town because the Wings were great. It's because there's like 37 guys right now in the NHL who are from the metropolitan Detroit area.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the national development team plays out of Plymouth. Mm-hmm. That's where when you see the juniors that they all go through that program.
Go through it. That's awesome.
Yep. I also saw in related thing, and those kids that are in the end NHD, I can't remember the 5-letter acronym for it. But they send them to school there. I mean, you ship your kids off to that development program.
Oh, okay.
It's just like junior hockey.
Right.
Which just got sued, following up on the stuff that happened with NIL and whether these are employees or anything else.
Okay.
So junior hockey, somebody sued the junior hockey system in Canada for mistreatment of the kids that are in this. I mean, I have a number of guys whose kids have left high school here and gone off to junior programs throughout in the United States and in Canada. It's been going on forever. And
so there's just abuse going on, or is it what? I mean,
they don't pay them enough. They don't follow up on their education.
Wayne Gretzky played for the Sioux Greyhounds
at
one point.
Yeah. Well, he loved his experience. So like that's he still talks about
Mike
that family.
Krushelinski. Do you know that name?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
So Krushelinski, his son played with my son on Birmingham's AAA travel for a number of years. I think that team was together for 4 years. So I knew Crusher for a pretty good time. A great guy. Not the brightest guy in the world by his own admission, because he left school at age 12.
Oh, gee.
He was playing. He was that good and that big. He already had an adult body or a growing adult body, and when it got off the farm, he's from some farm out in Edmonton, and played in the junior system for a long time, and. So he never got really a formal education.
Right.
Wow. I mean, his handwriting was absolutely atrocious, and his wife used to help him through I mean, he could read.
Yeah.
A functional. I have no idea what level he was at.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's been going on forever. I mean, Paul Woods will tell you that story.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But when you
I
think
haven't heard that
about
name in forever either.
Krushelinski was basically Gretzky's wingman. He played on that line to protect Gretzky.
Yeah.
The other guy on that line was Jari Kurri.
Yeah.
So and Krushelinski readily. I mean, Krushelinski was always in the top 5 or top 10 in scoring, strictly because he touched the puck once before Gretzky or Jari Kurri.
Yeah, he touched the puck and then he hit the guy.
And then he smashed some guy. He just followed Gretzky around.
He led in points and in hits.
Yeah,
protector. Yeah, no doubt about it.
He probably had more Gordie Howe hat tricks than Gordie Howe did.
Yeah, I was listening. They were on a national broadcast. They were talking about the Gordie Howe hat trick the other night. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
A goal, an assist, and a fight.
Yeah.
And that's what they said in the highlights. They go, oh, yeah, I got the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Better than that than the golden sombrero.
Yeah, yes.
So the Wings really need to win these last 2 games on this Canadian road trip.
Calgary tomorrow.
Calgary's not very good, so they should win that game. And the Kraken is so-so. So
Yeah.
they should be able to erase those last 2 losses.
I mean, Vancouver, very good.
Vancouver's got the best record in they're their first team to 70 points.
And Edmonton's red hot.
And they just beat Vancouver last Saturday.
Yeah.
That was their first game back.
I was not holding out hope
Yeah.
for the Wings to win that game.
They go 2-0 against Vancouver in that.
But they also went 0-5 on the penalty kill, which is not. They have
that's usually a strength of them.
It is. They're in the top 6 in power play efficiency.
Yeah.
So we need to see that turn around a little bit. We will. Speaking of winter activities, it is President's holiday weekend at Shanty Creek. Always a great time to be on this 3-day weekend. You don't need to look far outside the window to know that we've gotten some good snow at Shush Mountain just in time for the holiday. They got about 8 inches of new snow since yesterday, and the lake effect machine stopped squarely overhead. Another 6 inches predicted to fall today at Shush Mountain. So we've been able to open a bunch of new glade runs, and the mountain is packed to the brim with snow. So if you've been waiting until the time is right to hit the slopes, this is the weekend. Absolutely. Tubing is also open and a blast open daily through Monday, and that snow will be super fast. Did you know you can make tubing reservations online? I suggest you better do it.
Because so many people haven't been able to do this year. Now's your time.
No, you show up and go, I'd like to go tubing. That's at 6 o'clock, sir.
Yeah.
And
Best
it's 11
conditions
a.m.
all year right now.
That same thing happens at Hanson Hills.
Yeah.
You got to get in there,
You got to reserve
it. It's a blast. The kids love tubing.
And because it's a long weekend, we've got entertainment on tap for tomorrow at Ivans. Collision 6. One of Shanty Creek's favorite bands from the Metro Detroit area, but we'll be playing at Ivans beginning at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. There's a bit of lodging available. This weekend is really tough to get into, so if you want it, go right now to shantycreek.com and book your staycation. Of course, they still have the breakfast buffet. Not sure about the prime rib buffet. Unfortunately, I can't ask Lindsay for that. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Q100, Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport, TVC.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
The Pistons are on a break, but they'll have 2 of their young talents in action tonight as the NBA begins All-Star Weekend. Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey will take part in the Rising Stars game for the 2nd straight year. Also, the league has opened an official investigation into the altercation between Isaiah Stewart and Drew Eubanks of the Suns, where Stewart punched the Phoenix forward before their game on Wednesday night. Tomorrow will be the second rivalry matchup between Michigan and Michigan State basketball on the hardwood. Despite the Wolverines being last in the Big Ten, Tom Izzo still believes they're going to be a tough team to face.
You look at every game, including our game, they were up at halftime. Every game, they've been in 90% of them. Just couldn't find a way to win.
Doug McDaniel will play since they play in Ann Arbor. It's an 8 o'clock game as U of M tries to even the season series. And work continues in Lakeland, Florida for the Tigers. The full squad is set to arrive this weekend. Manager A.J. Hinch says the first week is the key to get the feel and vibe of the team and believes their young team is obviously growing and maturing. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. I overdosed on heroin, and I lived. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. My desire to change had finally outweighed my desire to stay the same. I felt powerless for so much of my life. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. For the first time, I finally feel like I'm exactly where I should be, where I want to be.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
In a conundrum over what season we're in? Let McLean's Ace Hardware in Grayling cut through the confusion. McLean's has whatever you need, no matter what Mother Nature brings. Painting is always a great project to update your home and increase its value. Right now, buy 2, get 1 free. Clark and Kensington and Ace brand interior paint. And the birds are always hungry. Satisfy them with Ace brand bird suet, just $1.39. McLean's Ace Hardware in Grayling. Get in, get out, get on with your project.
It usually starts in a group text. First, it's a day, then a time, then a location. This is how the classic girls' night begins. And one of the best venues around is Room 94. Petoskey's newest tap room. These ladies-only fun quests are filled with drinks, girl talk, and eventually, top-notch comedy. The content of which is, of course, classified. Room 94 has something for everyone, with the best selection of crafted cocktails, an amazing tavern-style menu, an exciting atmosphere, and bar games to showcase your mad skills. It's the perfect place to get the girls together. So get that group text going and head to Room 94. It's time to tap into togetherness at Odala Casino, Petoskey.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport TVC. It's time for you to fly. Don't forget to go to Up North Sports Radio and register for the TVC Getaway to LCA. Today's your last day. We were talking about college basketball, and I thought I would lead with Izzo, but you want to lead with Kaylin Clark.
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
You're not even a girl dad.
That was I know you guys are. Well, I figured I'd turn it over to you guys, but that was amazing. Saw the highlight of the 35-footer. I thought it was a buzzer beater.
In which you broke the record.
It was not. As JC just said, she's open as soon as she gets off the bus,
right.
Just like World Be Free. And, man.
Just like Steph Curry. I mean, there's guys that get Pete Maravich. I mean, Maravich was always open.
Yes. She's 99 points away from Pistol Pete now.
Yeah.
She scored 49 last night.
And
in
that's
Iowa,
the school record.
In Iowa. Just in playing the University of Michigan, who gave a good effort, scored 89, but Iowa scored, 102?
106.
106. Okay. So, I mean, it was... that
game did not go into overtime. They were throwing it up, baby.
Very little defense going on there.
Throwing it as soon as you get across the timeline.
Defense optional.
Right, at Hawkeye Carver Arena.
What a great shot. What a great smile. Great kid. I mean, it was awesome. 3,569 points now. She beat Kelsey Plum's record, 3,527.
And she's got they got another 6 games left in the Big Ten season.
Insane.
So and what she's going to do in the tournament.
She's got another year of eligibility if she wants it, because the crowd was going one more year. I don't know if she's coming back, but still, it was. Cool.
I don't know. I know she's got some decent NIL money.
She does. Yeah.
So who knows?
If she's comfortable, if she likes it.
I don't know who's the highest paid WNBA player? That's an interesting question.
That is, yeah.
But I wanted to hit Chad up. The Sparties might be righting the ship there.
They might be. Well, and their schedule is very favorable until they go to Mackey. But, they got the Wolverines at home. They got Iowa at home.
That's Saturday, right?
Michigan
They got 3 straight home games. And they got Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State. Ohio State with their
Michigan games at State, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That means no Doug McDaniel. That means loss for sure.
Yeah.
And then
will they count that as a road game?
Yeah, it's just up the road in East Lansing. Certainly Doug can make this.
I'm sure that Jawan is making some kind of.
I'm sure
it's Michigan.
It's within the state.
It's right in the. It's right in the name of the school, Michigan State. It's right there. So. I'm worried about the Purdue game. That would be, really their big win. They beat Illinois, which was great, but their big win, of course, was Baylor earlier
Erica
in the season.
Wheeler is the highest paid WNBA player. Guess what she makes?
It is $5 million a season.
$150,000.
No, but it is below the NBA minimum by half.
Okay.
So she makes $242,000, and the NBA minimum is like $580. Just saying.
Yeah.
Clark, yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying.
The NIL.
Look at a lot of this is driven. I believe in gender equity and everything else, but they don't. There's very few WNBA arenas that are sold out,
Yeah.
and I believe the last time I looked, the NBA is a loser as far as the TV contracts, what they pay, and all the other stuff. I mean, it's getting a little better.
And I'll say nothing else about this. Just if you want to look up something on this, look up Bill Burr WNBA.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
On YouTube.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It is, and
it's honest.
And it's honest.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely correct.
I agree.
And accurate. 100%.
Like I said, I'm jazzed about women's hockey. I've stated to you guys a lot that I believe that women's hockey is much closer to men's hockey than women's basketball is to men's basketball. Because I've seen it. I've seen girls at a high level play boys the same age and screw with them.
Well, I look forward to that in the Winter Olympics.
Well, in women's hockey too, we have great rivalries with the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah,
those are classic matchups every year.
Those are awesome to watch.
Whether it's for World Championships or Olympic gold,
there seemed to be a little juice in the Tennessee South Carolina women's basketball game last night, because the South Carolina is trying to break a record that Tennessee had with the most consecutive wins in the SEC, and it's just I think it's difficult when you're so used to the highlights and the absolute out of your brain skill that you see in the NBA, and you just don't see those kind of things. Even when a girl dunks in the WNBA, it's just barely one of those things like how I first got my first dunk. Like a barely squeaked over the rim.
Right. Just yeah. If people, you fall in love with the sheer athleticism.
I love the drive and desire and the teamwork and everything else. It's just not the same visual wonderment that NBA basketball is.
But it's pure. It's a lot of fundamentals.
And there's no doubt if you had women's hockey and men's hockey on the same thing, I mean, the men's sport is much faster than the ladies, but it doesn't matter. You're watching that, and you still see the great skating and spinoramas, and
it's exciting to watch.
So
hockey's a lot different than basketball. Like
I'm just that's my own personal opinion, for whatever it's worth, because my daughter played basketball and hockey, and she wasn't nearly the same basketball player she was in hockey, and maybe. Kelsey Plum's in the league, although she's not dominating. Mm-hmm. We'll see if Caitlin Clark stays another year.
And nothing personal. I follow girls better more college than WNBA, but I didn't even know the person you said is the Wheelers, her last name.
I never heard of her.
I've never heard of her either.
Well, I was going to say Sue Bird was probably
I watch all the highlights. Yeah,
she's
doing well.
She does a lot
places,
of
Sue's places now on ESPN.
Yeah, she plays for the Indiana Fever.
Okay.
Second place is Arike Ungalubabuli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
if you could tell me what team she plays for.
When the Detroit Shock had a team, I was more interested in women's basketball.
What do you mean? They had Lambier coaching, and it was more,
I like Bill.
Yeah.
Well,
I liked it when there was a Detroit team.
You might say you like Bill. You never met him.
That's true. From afar, from 200-plus miles. I love Bill.
There's a cool personal story that touches my alma mater with Bill Lambier and the Detroit Shock, because the Leslie Blackhawks girls team lost 100-0 in a game, and Bill Lambier brought the team to Leslie High School to meet with those girls.
Oh, no kidding!
And to encourage them, because I mean they were as you can imagine devastated, losing 100-0, and it was really cool. They got to meet all the players from the Shock and Lambier. That was a cool PR thing, but and that was one of the coolest things that ever happened in Leslie. That is for sure.
Oh, good job.
I mean, since I was there.
So going back to your Spartans.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with you, though.
Yeah, I mean they're going to have to still put the pedal to the metal. What are they now in the Big Ten? I think they're 8-6.
Yeah, 8-6, and they are right now in bracketology. They are
a 10 seed.
They're right around between an 8 and a 10 seed. And if they can get you got to beat Purdue and Mackey. I mean, if they could get that.
I was watching those highlights. Edie
he's insane.
He's literally like
but he's smaller than Wembyana. I think he's Zach Edie is 7'4". Wembyana is 7'5" or 7'6".
Yeah.
So
I saw a part of his.
Chet Holmgren is playing some basketball, man.
For OKC.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Wembanyama, I saw a part of his 10-block game. It was just ridiculous.
No, it's like playing
it was like Pee-wee players.
Exactly.
He just kept blocking.
When I would play with the kids, the fourth graders fourth and fifth graders, every once in a while I would just abuse them. They're like, boom.
Get that thing out of here.
You got the ball up here. You got the ball like this.
The Masumbo finger.
No.
You go like this, like taunt them with the ball and then pull it back. That was the true joy. The true joy of coaching. They're not paying. They're not paying me. The parents. Okay. We'll have them done in a minute, and then I just taunt them.
Yeah, exactly. The true joy. I might have a lot of fun.
Oh, you wee men. We'll be back after these words from our fine partners on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by TVC Cherry Capital Airport.
Listen, do you hear that? That's the sound of wide open spaces at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air. The sound of laughter coming from the Alpine Tubing Park. The sound of splashing in the pool. The sound of shushing down Shush Mountain. Here we go outside to play. When it's time for you to enjoy the wide open spaces of northern Michigan, Shanty Creek will be there to welcome you with over 275 lodging options, 42 downhill ski and snowboard runs, and plenty of outdoor fun in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
The people you know, the name you trust. North Central Area Credit Union. Integrity, service, and value, you can count on us. North Central Area Credit Union.
It's the month of love, and you'll love a checking account at NCACU. In fact, when you open up a new one this month, they'll give you $50 at each of their 5 locations: Granville, Grayling, Houghton Lake, Roscommon, and Standish.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
It's time to get away to your dream destination. Beat the winter and fly TVC to Sun and Sand. Looking for your spring break getaway? Book today. Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United are getting you where you want to go. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules.
You find yourself in need of a retreat, a space to call your own. It's the key of imagination that can unlock a man cave or a she shed. Created in the Woodworkers Zone. Lighting, paneling, decor, siding. Let the Woodworkers Shop in Cummins guide your imagination to a whole dimension in time and space. Your very own man cave or she shed. See everything you can't live without at woodworkershop.com or get to the Woodworker Shop on M33 Cummins.
The Traverse City Record Eagle wants your nominations now through February 16th for our 4th annual Women's History Month publication. Our commemorative edition honors women committed to embracing all and who have taken the lead in showing the importance of inclusion, equality, and fairness throughout our region. Nominate a woman, past or present, to be honored and celebrated in this annual Women's History Month publication, to include featured profiles of nominees. Now through February 16th. Nominate at record-eagle.com/NMI Women.
You always get more at Feeney Ford. Hi, this is Sean Abraham from Feeney Ford and Grayling. It's a fantastic February at Feeney Ford. We have a limited amount of 2023 fabulous F-150s with 72-month financing at 1.9 or up to $4,500 off. We have 7 hard-to-find full-size Broncos with the best price in the north. And the exciting Edge comes with 0.9% financing for 60 months and up to $6,500 in rebates. Visit us in Grayling or 24/7 at FeeneyFord.com. You'll always get more at Feeney Ford.
Welcome back to Friday Face-Off on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Coyne, Rich Calkins, Chad Patterson in studio. And yes, a lot of the Tigers team showing up early. Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to impress the new general manager and the new regime, but spring is in the air, and we're going. I think the 23rd or the 24th is when our first spring training game. That's not too far away, boys.
Oh, man, it is exciting. I love this time of year. It's my favorite sport, and I got a projected lineup here. Parker Meadows leading off, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. My personal favorite, Hoosier Tiger, Kerry Carpenter, bat and cleanup. Mark Canna.
The guy they got from Milwaukee, professional hitter.
Colt Keith, they got penciled in at 6 here. Javi, like you just said, getting to the bottom of the lineup. 7.
Javier Baez, folks, for you
I'm sorry.
who don't have your programs open.
Javier Baez. Zach McKinstry, or could be Jace Jung at third base, and Jake Rogers at catcher. And the line.
No Dirk Diggler? When are they bringing Diggler up?
The Ohio State guy has not.
They're giving him another year at AA.
Yeah.
We need Dingler.
I know. He really likes Erie. He really loves it there.
Dingler.
But Tarek Skubel's your ace.
I see my name exploding in lights.
Skubel's your ace. Jack Flaherty, Kenta Maeda, Matt Manning, and Reese Olson they have at 5.
Well,
not Casey Mize.
I mean, when you read the stuff coming out of Lakeland right now, they're very confident that they're going to pitch the ball well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barring any more Tommy John surgeries. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they've sunk enough assets into the pitching, the drafting, and everything else. It's funny, guys. So they're praising Kenta Maeda for his leadership, his savvies, but he doesn't speak English.
Not a speck of
English.
And
there's not another Japanese pitcher on there's not another Asian guy on the team. And so, he's got his interpreter. I bet you that guy better be motivational. Kenta says, kick some ass.
Well, it's got to come through passionately through the translator.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's.
And I want you to kick some ass.
This is the perfect example as lead by example.
Well,
not through talk and all.
Well, Rich, I'm glad you brought that up because it could be a lot of routine stuff.
Yeah.
Like he goes through his routine very, very methodically, and everybody else is kind of watching him. These are some young pitchers still, and that's what's exciting, I mean,
I don't think Reese Olson has shaved yet.
No.
I mean, he is an ultimate baby face kid.
Well, remember how excited we were last season with Reese Olson. I mean, he looked good in those first
and
couple
that's a kid
outings.
we didn't hear much about coming up through the rank and file, so it was really cool.
He was certainly not as,
No,
he was impressive last year.
Or Manning.
Well, no, what was he, like a 9th rounder or something like that? Yeah. It might have been even double-digit rounds.
I think so. I was going to say, I thought it was even higher than that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It might have been like a
14-rounder.
rounder.
However you would say that. But yeah. Yeah, it's. But I'm excited. I mean, for me to say I'm excited, I'm excited this time of season or this time of year. I was excited when Craig Paquette was their, top free agent signing, and he was a utility player. So
that's the one thing that's a little depressing is that Mark Hanna is the only free agent. Well, Kenta Maeda.
Right.
I mean, are those the only 2 free agents that they
so.
signed?
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like that was their big
other guys
splash.
to minor league contracts, of course, that they traditionally will do.
But you got to kind of understand that, though.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest year for hitting free agents. Okay.
No.
Right.
Soler just signed with the Giants. He was, at 36.
Well, the Giants had to sign somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been getting rejected.
They're
getting rejected more than I was at junior prom.
But yeah,
because after my date rejected me, I was hitting on other people's dates that didn't work out.
After they
Thanks
missed
for expounding.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wanted to make sure the depth of the desperation that the Giants had. As Jon Stewart once said, I drove a 1975 off-brown Gremlin, which served as...
That's a magnet, no doubt about it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I had a 74 Ford Maverick. I know.
Help promote.
Multi-colors, 4 or 5 different colors. My now wife, she would hide underneath the seat there when we went through town because it made so much noise from the lack of muffler.
If you want to see something funny, comedians in cars getting coffee, Jon Stewart telling the story about his Gremlin and his senior prom date. It is awesome. As desperate as the San Francisco Giants to get a free agent.
Yeah.
You need to talk about your wins this week. Get back
I gotta
in
get my headphones. All right.
Okay. Excelente.
That means you need to talk while
I will do that. We're going to cruise right in. Just a little bit of high school sports action here. Pickens Sons Sportscape.
That's right. It's time for the Fick and Sons Sportscape Show. Fick and Sons proudly supporting all our local athletes. Visit fickandsons.com for all your propane needs. Local, competitive, reliable, fickandsons.com. James Cook from the Traverse City Record Eagle joining us on the phone. James, how are you? Good to see you on Saturday.
I'm doing great. Yeah, Saturday was a great event.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Did you stay for the Cass Tech game?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I left at the end, just at the start of the next to last game is what.
That was the Cass Tech game.
Yeah, that was So we.
The Cass Tech Central. What happened in that game, James? I'm assuming Cass Tech handled them easily.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly close game. Central kind of hung in there for a little bit, but Cass Tech is just too much for almost anybody.
Well, and the funny thing is I was, they're this defending state championship, James, and their best player from last year's team was only a sophomore, and he went to IMG Academy. So the kid that they were counting on to lead them, he's the one that hit the 18-footer at the buzzer to send the game into overtime against Muskegon to win the state championship. He's off the team and playing at IMG Academy. I'm like, where's
Florida.
this kid? I was asking Rich. I saw the team on the phone and go, where is? I'm trying to remember the kid's name now, and I'm like, oh, he's playing at IMG. This is still a fantastic basketball team.
Oh yeah, they were just hitting threes so easily. It's just like that's all they practice or something. They were like the Golden State Warriors.
But
it's their offense was impressive.
But if you remember correctly, I don't think they made a three against Traverse St. Francis last year in that game. They did not impress me with their shooting at all in that game. I talked.
I remember you saying.
Yeah,
about that.
I was. Benzenberg and I were watching that game, the first half of the St. Francis Cass Tech game, and I was wildly unimpressed with Cass Tech. So obviously they had a focus on shooting, and it's coming to fruition.
Yeah, they just kept bombing. It didn't matter how much the lead got up to. They just kept firing up threes, and it seemed like they wanted to try to get to like 100 or something. I think they ended up getting close to 90.
Well, all three of the Detroit teams that I saw play were very impressive.
They were very.
Yeah, incredibly.
Yeah, I thought Cadillac would play a little better against Wayne Memorial, but that team's got a lot of athleticism.
They do.
Yeah.
And you know what? A team that I've been keeping my eye on, Dearborn, they play Wayne Memorial next week, JC, before the end of the regular season. So I'm interested to see how that matchup goes. And our friend Mick McCabe had an article in the Detroit Free Press, was it Sunday or Monday of this week, about the head coach, Mashur, and two of his sons, that the Mashur boys, about how well they're playing for Dearborn. So.
Yeah, I was talking to the one who was the first team that played Hamtramck.
Yes.
Right, so
Hamtramck
destroyed McBain.
McBain sure did.
And I was talking to their assistant coach, and I was asking him about their districts because it had been a practice, at least when I was playing, which is 152 years ago, that the PSL, they split the PSL teams out of playing each other. And so he was telling me that a Hamtramck team, which is not even in a league,
yeah,
they're playing independently,
yeah.
was in a district with U of D Jesuit, Plymouth Salem. I mean, it was just a hodgepodge of teams in the metropolitan Detroit area, all of them very good.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, it's a good thing we played the schedule that we have, because if you looked at who Hamtramck has played, it's unbelievable. They played both Dearborn and Dearborn-Fordson. So, yeah.
That you were deceived by that 10-8 record they had coming into it, because then, like, you see them on the floor for real, you're like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And again, I was talking to Coach Benzenberg. He goes, don't worry about McBain. They're going to be very good. They just – that athleticism, you don't see that kind of athleticism in Northern Michigan.
And in Division III in Northern Michigan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, no doubt about it.
Yeah. and they were ahead after the first quarter. McBain was.
Yeah.
When in the first quarter they got the game played at their tempo.
Exactly.
And then it was after the first quarter, Hamtramck was able to get out in transition, which is what they want to do. And then it just started going that way.
Exactly. That's exactly right, James. And it was saying, and the funny thing is, I don't want to. Who's the star player for Cadillac?
Charlie Howell.
Charlie Howell.
Yes, thank you.
He played pretty well against a really good Wayne Memorial team, and but I have to call him out. He missed how many free throws? I think from my count, he was like 5 for 14 or 15 from the line, and your star player has got to make those free throws. He's got a flat shot, and it makes it very difficult to make free throws unless they're dead in the hole.
Yeah, and he's going through a slump right now from the line because in the second TC West game, we saw him. He went into that game shooting 87% from the line. And he was less than 50% in our second game with West, and then it continued on at the showcase there that he was.
How much have you seen of that this year, though, James and Rich? The question's for you. I mean, free throw shooting seems to be not a priority this year. Like it's
Traverse City West as a team is really good from the line. They really practice it a lot as a team. I will put West up against most anybody. They're a very good free throw shooting team. But I've seen a lot of other teams not be good, and it can be the difference when you get into going towards districts and regionals. Is winning and losing.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I know that Wayne Memorial ended up overwhelming them, but they had the opportunity to stay in that game had he made those free throws, and especially when they started following him a little bit. Because you're like, well, this guy can't shoot.
Right.
I mean, they never seen this guy, before.
Well, it sticks out like a sore thumb when you miss 3 or 4.
And it gets in your head, and then it
plus you miss the front end of a 1-on-1. I mean, I can't tell you how much crap I used to get from a coach. I think I might have only done it twice in my career, but you're like, that's 4 points. That's not 2 points. That's 4 points because they're going to go down and score.
And nowadays they don't have 1-on-1 anymore. It's 2 automatically. That's one of the new rules. JC is no more 1-on-1. It's 2.
Yep. It's 2.
Unless
boy, am I old.
Oh no, I know. It's one of those new changes.
They just changed that this year.
Yep, it's
Did they really?
off the presses.
Yeah, James, how do you like that rule change?
I imagine the coaches probably notice it a lot more. Some of the coaches say that it's kind of made the game a little bit longer and have added more free throws to the game. Others say that they really haven't noticed much of a difference. The new rule is that to get to the bonus is 5 fouls in any quarter, so it's not by half anymore. So once you get to 5 fouls, it's just the double bonus. There's no 1-on-1 anymore in the high school basketball in Michigan.
I think it's. I mean, I don't know about you, Rich. And James said it made the game a little bit longer. I think it helps the flow of the game.
I think so too. For us, I mean, JJ and I've been getting out of the gyms a lot earlier now and doing post-game interviews, all that, than I was just a year ago.
And, and James, I don't know how you feel about this. It seems like the refs are letting the kids play a little bit more.
That certainly was the case at Traverse
City.
City.
That seems to be the case. Yeah, I think that seems to be the case with this.
Yes.
I don't know if it's because of that rule change or if it's just a change in officiating.
Right. No, but I'm enjoying it certainly more with a little more contact and all that, not so much ticky-tack stuff. We had one game where it was very ticky-tack, but overall it's been letting them play.
I wanted to have Chad Patterson in. He does all our play-by-play work with the Grayling Vikings, who had a really good week, Chad, finally.
Yeah, after a 7-game losing streak, they went on a 3-game winning streak this week. Had a couple of makeup games against East Jordan on Monday. They won that one by 33. And then a huge win, the first one since 2015, James, against Traverse City St. Francis, 54-51. And then they rounded it out last night with a win against Kalkaska. They look like they're playing or righting the ship right at the right time going into the end of the season and into districts. But, that game against Traverse City St. Francis was bananas. It was just crazy. So, they're playing really well as a team.
It's like Haley's Comet, right?
Yeah, it is like Haley's Comet. I mean, James, I don't know how long you've been working for the Record Eagle. I mean, have you ever even written about a Grayling win over Traverse City St. Francis?
Not in basketball.
Yeah,
the girls got that first one this year against St. Francis, and that was something that they seem to be.
They just kicked them out of the league.
Proud of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Scott Nicholas made that comment the other day.
I'm just saying they just kicked them. I was talking to Finnegan, and he's like, well, part of this is helping me schedule what's going to look like. I got to schedule 18 or 20 games, so it's been helpful for him to put it on this showcase and start talking to a lot more coaches, because St. Francis is an independent.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, again,
I'll miss
I hope Grayling voted to keep them in the league.
I believe they did. From everything that I heard, and James, I don't know if you heard anything different about what school voted which way, or even you had access to any of that.
I'm
but
sure it's not public record.
From everything I've heard from Grayling, though, they wanted St. Francis to remain in the conference.
I know when Tim Sanchez was head coach at football, they went through a similar thing, and I know Grayling voted to keep St. Francis in the league back then. So we're talking 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, when they kicked them out in football, which is that was probably about a good decade ago, I'd say.
Was it?
Yeah, I know Grayling was one of the teams that was in St. Francis' corner, and they were like, well, hey, to be good, you got to beat the good teams.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And it feels, and I know from the other night, I mean, it feels good when you do come out on top. So. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a bunch of teams, beat St. Francis in recent years, and it's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
And then St. Francis may take that the wrong way, and that teams are celebrating it, but it's like it doesn't happen very often. It's a big deal.
It is.
It kind of reminds me of years ago. I had when I was back working at the paper in Gaylord, Johannesburg Lewiston was really good in baseball. And I think they were ranked in the top 5, and they lost a game, and I put it on the front page of the sports section, and I got a phone call from a kid on the team from Johannesburg Lewis, and he's like, "Why did you put us on the top of the front page when we lost the game?" And I'm like, "Because it's a big deal when somebody beats you."
Now, I hate to keep referencing Brother Rice, but that's the way it is when you're that successful, especially as a private school. Because it's easy to pile on a private school.
And how they recruit.
I don't know how much recruiting is actually going on at St. Francis. It's a hell of a lot easier to recruit at Brother Rice or Detroit Country Day, than it is up here. The thing that I don't like about it more than anything else, it just throws a ton more expense and work on St. Francis.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know where. I mean, it's not like their programs are going away.
No.
But it's just a shame that this is, well, like you said, it's anti-competitiveness.
Yeah. You no longer have.
Well, like Sean Finnegan said, he was saying, he's like, I really don't mind this too much, us being an independent, because we can go and we can find, as many games against good teams as we can, but that's going to require us to travel a lot, and my wife's going to hate that.
And it's going to cost more money.
That's right.
So
dig deeper into the coffers and for travel expenses. No, when you don't have those built-in 7 league teams, where you have 14 games built in.
Yeah, in the Catholic League downstate, they still have the Catholic League, so you're playing Catholic Central in Detroit and Warren de La Salle, but those teams, even in the Catholic League, dropped out, so they won't play Brother Rice, they won't play Catholic Central, and they had to get teams in from Toledo. They had to get 3 Catholic schools in from Toledo to round out the top tier of the Catholic League. So it's going on everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
James, what's on your agenda today?
I will be at the Traverse City Central versus Traverse City West hockey game tonight.
Oh, okay.
Which is a go. They made a decision on that last night that they're going to play that after the tragic injury to Brady Lewis on Friday. Yeah. So they're going to be playing that game. They're going to be, both teams are going to have stickers with Brady's name on it on their helmets, and he's doing pretty well in the hospital now. He's still in intensive care, but they're looking at maybe moving him to a different location where he can do start physical therapy here sometime. They're not sure on the date on that exactly, but things are kind of looking better. I know the other day he had some Grand Rapids Griffins players that came and stopped at his room and visited him.
Oh, very
and everything, and there's been kind of an outpouring of support from all around the state.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know. I know he got run from behind. That's all I know. I was talking to Jason Carmine a couple days ago from it, and that AAA travel team that I was referring to you guys that my son played on, a kid got run from behind in a game that we were playing against Jackson, and he suffered a closed-hand injury, and he was never the same. He couldn't make it through school. He had to be homeschooled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that you can't do that. You cannot run kids from behind. It never ends up very good.
Yeah. From everything I've heard, he was checked from behind. They were both going after the puck, kind of, but he was checked from behind as he was lunging for the puck.
Yeah.
And wasn't near the board, so he didn't get technically boarded, but he hit the ice and slid head first into the boards.
Yeah.
And that's what caused the injury.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
And then,
hockey's a dangerous sport.
It is.
I mean, it's really technically more dangerous than football.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at the high school level and the mites level and everything else. You see kids at a younger age and they have big stop signs on the back of their jerseys. So, don't hit your players from behind.
Right. That's smart. I did not realize they do that. That's great.
And the NHL has gone through massive changes with this as well because if you look at what the NFL did for concussions versus what the NHL has done, they both reduced them, but so now the amount of concussions in hockey are way higher than professional football. But I mean, that's just the way it is. It's 3 times faster. I mean, those guys are going fast. So it sounds like his prognosis is really good. He doesn't have any brain injury at all or anything else, James. So, broken neck.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a fracture somewhere in his neck, and then spinal contusion, so bruising of the spine.
Yeah.
But everything seems to be good, to be going pretty well. He has full movement and feeling in his legs, and he's got most of it. His arms has come back. It's been slower than the legs, but it seems to be coming back more and more.
Yeah.
As time goes on, so they're hopeful that comes back fully and that he can have a full recovery here.
I just want to get in a word about Fick & Sons. They're your local, competitive, reliable propane provider, but so much more than just propane. They provide home heating fuel for residential and commercial customers from Charlie's Country Corner right at 4 Mile Road on I-75 outside of Grayling that has an Arby's. A huge convenience store, a Super 8 by Wyndham, and a full-service diesel garage in Roscommon. They have the Sunny Spot Fuel and Convenience Store. Kalkaska has the Bear Lakes Marathon. They got great pizza and a full liquor department. In Whittemore is the Crossroads Sit-Go, offering gas to include diesel and racing fuels, snacks, drinks, and an excellent deli. Fick & Sons expanding their services throughout northern Michigan. Check out everything they have to offer by going to fickandsons.com. Chad, you are done for the week, right? As far as basketball?
Yeah, I don't have another game till
Crosstown rival Weston Central go at it at Central tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was a little odd that they have the Central West hockey game the same night as the Central West basketball game, but that's the way it goes. But Central is back to full strength, Rich, and they're going to be looking for payback.
They are, yes, exactly. West won big at West here just a little over a month ago. Anthony Arrival back and hopefully continues his strong play, but they're a totally different team with Anthony Arrival obviously on that team. So and his brother, he tends to play better as well because obviously Anthony gets so much attention. Than Owen. Has some better looks in, so should be an interesting matchup tonight. Doing both, it's a doubleheader night. We're doing the girls and the guys.
Right. Yeah, fun night. The gym will be rocking.
It will. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah. James, are you still there?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
Yep.
James, did Harbor and St. Francis play last night, or was that postponed or canceled?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was actually off last night, so I wasn't working at all.
What the hell?
James, you deserve a night off, buddy.
A day of not paying attention for once.
Yeah.
Because I was working Saturday, so I get a day off during the week. So
There you go.
Yesterday, I
Well,
day
good for
off,
you.
went and visited the family and took a day off. But there's a bunch of other good games tonight, though, too. I mean, for the last couple of weeks, we've commented that there hasn't been a lot of great matchups on Friday night, and this Friday there are a lot of them. You got the Central West, the threefer,
Right.
between the girls, boys game, and the hockey. But then you've got Glen Lake playing Benzie Central, which is a game that's basically Northwest Conference title for boys basketball. You've got Lake City and Manton in girls basketball, which is two ranked teams. That is basically a game that's going to determine who wins the Highland Conference. So there's a lot of other good games out there outside of the Central West matchups too.
It
Ones
appears
that
that
we really
that game was canceled.
Okay,
It's not on the scoreboard that I see. So.
And that makes sense. If I think I'm right in this, Benzie and St. Francis are in the same district.
Yeah,
they are.
Too, I
They
think.
are.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to watch because it's both those teams are going to match up well, I think.
West plays Benzie next week, so that'll be at Benzie. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Benzie's played well.
Yeah, Benzie is a fun team to watch.
Yeah, there's a couple other interesting games tonight, James. Gaylord's traveling to Petoskey. I just saw an article I showed Rich that it looks like Gilo was offered by Oakland University.
Yeah. He tweeted that out, I think, about a week ago or so, or sometime about the last week. Or
I got to
so.
get Campy on the phone. I know Greg Campy. I'm going to try to understand what he likes or doesn't like about. No, I just want to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm not a big fan of the kid, but I mean, he certainly can score.
he can score.
Yeah,
Man.
but.
He's averaging over 30 a game.
Yeah. At the expense of a few other things that are going on in the team, but that's neither here nor there. I can't get my 30 if I don't have the rock.
That's right.
Chad's going to have that tattooed on his forearm here.
I love that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Lake City is at Manton. That's a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, especially on the girls' side, it's a doubleheader.
Yeah.
But the girls' game is basically the Highland Conference on the line. If Manton can win, I think they can force a share of the conference. If Lake City wins, they can put themselves into winning the conference outright.
Yeah, all the girls' teams are playing in the Lake Michigan Conference as well. Boyne City's at Elk Rapids, East Jordan's at Charlevoix. The Grayling girls traveling to Kalkaska tonight. And Harbor Springs is playing Traverse City St. Francis, which makes sense, even though it looks like that the boys' game was canceled last night.
Yeah.
Anything else you're looking at, James, before we let you go?
No, I think that's enough stuff going on.
That's
tonight.
enough stuff.
I mean, there's a bunch of other basketball games, but
yeah, no, there is it's a full slate of games, even though
all these games are on one night. So all these games that we wanted to go to, we can't go to.
Yeah.
Like Lake City, Manton, Glen Lake, Benzie.
No doubt about it. James Cook, we'll look forward to reading your reporting tomorrow in the Traverse City Record Eagles sports department.
Yeah, it's going to be an emotional night, I'm sure, James.
Yeah, I imagine it will be. I know that I talked to the CC West coach Anthony Plumbo, and he said they don't have any special anything planned or anything. They're just going to try to have it as normal as possible. But I don't know how possible that's going to be.
Yeah.
I had heard from Jason Carmine that the parents really want it played down. They want to keep their privacy. They want to let this play out the way it normally would without it being a focus of a sporting event in a whole community. So, but you're right, James. It's certainly going to be something, and hopefully everybody plays with smarter eyeballs and smarter heads. All right, James, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
See you, James.
All right.
See you, James.
That's going to do it for us here on the Fick & Sons High School Sports Game Show. Fick & Sons is, remember, for all your propane needs, contact Fick & Sons. Local, competitive, reliable. Check them out at fickandsons.com. Rich and I will be on the mic tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to recap all the action that we're talking about.
Yep, with that full slate, it's going to be a good one.
Yep, it should be. So if you want to hear about all that we teed up today, please join us at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning right here on Up North Sports Radio. Back to CBS Sports.
Live TV, because these guys play 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 for fun in the offseason. They're into it. That's my plan. Buy or sell, that is a solution.
Buy.
Right?
I like that one a heck of a lot better than your slam dunk idea.
Haters gonna hate.
That's me. I'm definitely a hater, and I'm definitely judgy.
Buy or sell, you want to hear about my dreams?
Sell.
Okay, let's get into buy or sell.
Did you really think I was going to buy that one?
I was going to give you the choice.
Like, I've heard about, I don't know how many of your dreams are all super weird.
Okay, you don't have to.
Are these not super weird?
They're not awesome.
Okay, then I'm going to get to
right.
the NFL.
To quote Indiana Jones, you have chosen wisely.
All right, Bill, as you know, the 49ers are in the market for a new defensive coordinator, given that they fired Steve Wilkes just 3 days after they were in the Super Bowl. And there's already rumors swirling that former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley could get interest from San Francisco. Remember, Staley was the Rams DC back in 2020. Bill, buy or sell, the 49ers should be interested in Brandon Staley.
Little context on the guy giving us context. This morning when Tom and I talked, Pretty Daddy goes, oh my God, they're considering Staley. And yet I will buy that they should be interested.
Buy.
And I will make the point to you wherever you are listening that I made to Prettiest Daddy. Pretty Daddy. Prettiest of Daddies. Pretty Daddy. I guess you're not necessarily prettiest of daddies. You're just Pretty Daddy. There could be a prettier daddy out there. I don't know.
The door's open.
The door is open. To Pretty Daddy, I said that Spags is a perfect example of a former head coach, widely mocked, widely considered a failure. Nobody would hire for a head coaching job coming off of those stints, mostly the Rams, right? Who has now reminded us that you can rise to a level where you fail, but you rose for a reason. And there can be real excellence, and in Spags' case, real genius, if you can just make peace with this is sort of what your role. There's no guarantee that Brandon Staley's that guy, but he was a highly coveted, young defensive mind who became a head coach who was highly, 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 highly regarded for a reason. So to have interest, yeah, I mean, you have to do your evaluations, you have to have conversations, but it makes a lot of sense to me.
All right, Bill, speaking of failed head coaches, the Washington Commanders hold the number 2 pick in the draft this year, and they also introduced new offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury yesterday. And when Kingsbury was asked what he looks for in a quarterback, he said, quote, the Chiefs quarterback, end quote. And, Bill, you know this tickled my fancy because Kingsbury actually was Patrick Mahomes' head coach at Texas Tech, where Kingsbury, oh, by the way, finished 6 games under 500 when Mahomes started those games. Bill, buy or sell, Cliff Kingsbury will ruin a quarterback if the Commanders draft one at number 2.
I don't think there's any scenario where they don't draft one, do you? Unless they trade down because there's a quarterback they like who's, at 8 or 9 or 10. But I'm going to apply it to any, not just a 2. You obviously have an opinion on this because that's a very, maybe a different producer.
All right, here we go.
Hold on. Who's not the prettiest of daddies, maybe would have asked, buy or sell, you have confidence in Cliff Kingsbury being, you wrote, buy or sell, Cliff Kingsbury will ruin a quarterback. That's a very pointed question.
Here we go. I have an opinion on all of these, but sometimes I throw you off and do the opposite of what my opinion actually is. And I try to give like a strong question. You don't like when I leave it open-ended.
I'm not criticizing you. This is like the moment in my dream with the bear in the backpack that you don't want to hear about.
It already sounds weird.
There's a lot going on. It was weird. And Walmart, I don't know. Will ruin a quarterback. I mean, I'll buy in part because the Commanders could ruin the quarterback, or the pressure of that job could ruin. I actually think the Commanders is a pretty good landing spot, though, for how high they're drafting. I think you have the chance of some success. You know what? God, I don't like the question because it is hard, not because you did anything wrong, Pretty Daddy. Because Kingsbury hasn't succeeded, but Obviously, he is well regarded. I do. You know what? I think this is the classic. Guy can just sell himself in a room. Yeah, no, that person's screwed.
All right, Bill, let's get into some fandom here. Fandom rules.
Fandom.
Now, Kylie Kelsey, wife of Eagles center Jason Kelsey, who may or may not be retiring, it's still not clear.
Kylie may be retiring?
No, Jason.
Got it.
It was reported the day after they lost in the playoffs he was retiring. But
I just found it funny to pretend it was her.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, now Kylie Kelsey.
Yeah.
She refuses to wear any other NFL gear other than the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Kylie, as we know, is a Philly area native and would only wear the color red, no actual Chiefs gear, to support her brother-in-law, Travis, at the Super Bowl.
Can I just jump in? I love that her husband said to her, Kylie, we have family in the game. It's okay. And she, okay, just please. He tried to say to her,
because he was head to toe in Chiefs
right,
gear.
Right. Okay.